Let's move away from South Africa now. Let's go to Zambia. It's opposition party, Socialist Party leader Fred Membe has been arrested and charged for libel. Socialist Party, of course, President Fred Membe was formally arrested and charged with the offense of libel and is currently in police custody awaiting court appearance.
Now, police spokesperson Roy Hamonga said in a statement that the suspect has been detained in custody and will appear in court very soon. Brief facts of the matter are that on the 6th of June 2023, Dr. Membe, with intent to defame, published an article and circulated it on social media. Now, the article, according to the former Post newspaper's managing editor, read thus: "Fired cop dies of depression."
Now, police have further administered a warn and caution statement to Dr. Fred Membe on an alleged offense of communication of certain information contrary to Section 4, Subsection 3 of the State Security Act, Chapter 111 of the laws of Zambia. Well, joining us to, of course, shed more light on this from Kitwe in Zambia is Green Party President Peter Sinkamba. Good morning, Mr. Sinkamba. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, and thank you very much for having me on the program this morning.
All right. It's becoming seemingly popular that the institutions of government, the judiciary, the media, even security agencies are being weaponized to silence opposition leaders in many parts of the world, not just in Africa. We're seeing something similar in Senegal. Of course, could be interpreted very, different, but is this what might also be playing out here in Zambia? Or do you think these allegations against Mr. Membe are strong enough?
Well, thank you very much. First of all, let me start with the first question, whether this is really a global issue in Africa. Yes, it is global. And basically, I think it is because of the Western countries, the US, the European Union, the UK, who tend to always overpraise certain leaders and turn a blind eye when wrong things are done, continue showering a lot of praises despite certain actions being undertaken by those leaders being inimical to the democracy in the various countries. And because of that kind of latitude, which is mainly propagated by the Western countries, who are the financiers of these countries, for example, these highly indebted countries, you find that a lot of wrongs are committed by state institutions against the people of those various countries, and very little support is rendered to them. Now, when you look at, for example, here in Zambia, the current president was heavily supported by the international community. I'm talking about the US, the UK, the European Union, the Commonwealth. When he was in opposition, they used to condemn wrongs which were committed by the government of the time, the PF government, every single moment. In fact, we had the ambassadors who could even speak against the etiquette of diplomats to try and support an opposition leader at that time. But when he is in government now, they've abandoned that role of protecting the opposition and praise the current government. Even when wrong things are being done, they turn a blind eye. I think that is where the problem is in Africa. And I'm pretty sure various countries that are facing a kind of scenario also would definitely point at the West as being the main drivers of this kind of arrangement by overshowering praise on the government of the day and turning a blind eye to
So basically protecting, taking sides and protecting governments that protect their interests, basically. That's what you're saying. And, of course, giving those governments the leverage to then be oppressors of opposition in their countries. That's seemingly the narrative. But I want to talk about this particular case now with Fred Membe of the Socialist Party. How strong or how popular is he in Zambia? And you talk a little bit also of the charges against him.
Well, in terms of popularity, yes, of late, Dr. Membe and the Socialist Party have become popular. I mean, it's a fact. You could see yesterday in Lusaka when he was arrested, there was a lot of supporters there who were there to support him. And countrywide, of course, is gaining momentum. That's the fact. And we hope that he continues at that trajectory. Now, coming to the issue of charges, from our end as a Green Party, we don't think that there's any merit in those charges. The first one of Libel, where he suggested that the person who died, the former Division of Criminal Investigations officer who died, he was removed from from the position when there was change of government, and several other police officers were removed from their position when there was a change of government. And this is a trend which normally happens when there's new government. But the Constitution at the moment stipulates that when someone is removed from office, he ought to continue being on salary until he is paid off their dues.
Okay, Peter, so, I'm sorry to interrupt, but let me just really chip this in. Now, you talked about the merit in the charges. Now, the former newspaper managing editor, that's Fred Membe, was arrested because on the 6th of June, he made a publication allegedly with the intent to defame. So looking at that backstory, do you think that there is it doesn't hold enough water to get him arrested, talking about the merits that you brought up?
There's no merit. To say that someone died of BP, someone died of BP, and on account that this person was not given his salary as ordered by the court, I don't think there is a strong case there on the Libel. Because it's a fact that the person was removed from office. It's a fact that there was a court order which directed that this person must be paid his salary, whilst must get back on payroll, whilst his issue is being attended to. And then also, it's a fact that he died. Whether it was BP or something like that, that is not a main.
I seem to be struggling a little bit with the connection with Peter Sinkamba there. Of course, the conversation is in Zambia and the arrest and jailing of Socialist Party President Fred Membe. Of course, with allegations of defamation. These are some of the things that, of course, are ongoing. And the conversation expands beyond just Zambia and beyond just the Socialist Party or the UPND. It's really about, like I mentioned earlier, the seeming weaponization of institutions of government against opposition leaders. Mr. Sinkamba, can you hear us? Sinkamba, I beg your pardon, can you hear us now?
You're breaking.
All right.
Yes, so I was explaining that I don't think there's merit, because it's a fact this person died. It's a fact that also this person was removed from the payroll. It's a fact that the court ordered that he must be put back on the payroll. The fact that this person died. So whether or not it was BP, I don't think that is really a very, very big issue, which warrants that a leader of the opposition must be arrested and charged level. That is my position. I don't think it's a tight case.
All right.
Definitely.
So you're president or the leader of the Green Party, right? And so tell us about how this makes you feel, in Zambia. Do you believe that President Hakainde Hichilema will, of course, it will continue this weaponization as it has been described of institutions of government against opposition party members and leaders? Is this a fear that you have?
Of course, I was one of the supporters of the president when he was in opposition. Each time that he was victimized by the system. He was arrested almost 16 times, and one of them was charged on a false case of treason. I was one of the persons that negotiated with the government of the day to release him because there was no merit in those cases. And it becomes very unfortunate that he wants to also allow his people. I'm not saying he is himself ordering the arrests, but I'm saying he's tolerating this kind of arrangement where the police is a command which is under his charge can carry out activities in similar fashion that like the previous regime of PF, where they were arresting opposition leaders every other day. I don't think it is good for him because he will only end up popularizing the opposition. He became president not because he had the best of policies, but because people were fed up with the arrests that were being made on him. And therefore, the people decided now to choose him as a leader because they were so frustrated with the behavior of the cadres of PF who were reigning terror, and also the behavior of arresting opposition leaders every day. So he is not supposed to take that trajectory of the previous regime. Otherwise, he will definitely be booted out of office in 2026.
Hopefully, the legal system in Zambia is, free and fair to Fred Membe, and of course, we get to see him, see these charges set aside if there's no merit to it, like you've mentioned. We, of course, will continue to expand these conversations. Thank you very much, Mr. Sinkamba, for joining us this morning. We wish you well, and we'd like to speak with you again.
Thank you very much for having me on the program, and looking forward to it.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much. All the way from Kitwe, Zambia, that was the Green Party President, Sinkamba.